How you doing, everybody? My name is Dr. Sammy BAYA. Please welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is what silence does to the narcissist. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a person can use against a narcissist. For those who are unfamiliar with the psychology of narcissism, it might seem like a passive response, but to the narcissist, it is profoundly destabilizing. Narcissists are characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance and a deep need for admiration and validation. When someone goes silent on them, they are deprived of the attention and admiration that they desperately crave. The silence becomes a source of deep anxiety, creating confusion and frustration that they cannot easily resolve. At the core of narcissism is a need for control. Narcissists view relationships as opportunities to assert dominance and establish their superiority. When their targets withdraw their attention or fail to respond as expected, the narcissist experiences a loss of control. They cannot manipulate or influence the other person as they usually would. This loss of control triggers feelings of vulnerability, something narcissists deeply fear and avoid. The silence exposes the weakness they constantly try to hide behind their grandiose personas. The narcissist's reaction to silence can vary, but typically it invokes a sense of panic. Without the constant reinforcement of their ego, they begin to question their worth and their impact on the world around them. Narcissists often derive their self-esteem from external validation. So when they face silence, they are left to confront their own feelings of inadequacy and emptiness. This self-reflection is uncomfortable for them, and it can cause emotional dysregulation, triggering anger, frustration, and even despair. Silence also takes away the narcissist's ability to manipulate the situation. Narcissists excel at using words and actions to elicit reactions, to twist narratives in their favor, or to extract favors from others. However, silence provides no opportunity for them to control the narrative. It prevents them from launching their usual tactics of gaslighting, guilt-tripping, or deflecting blame. Now, this powerlessness is unsettling for the narcissist and often drives them to escalate their attempts to provoke a response. In response to silence, narcissists may try a variety of tactics to break it. They may attempt to charm their way back into the other person's good graces. They may decide to offer promises they do not intend to keep. Sometimes they resort to playing the victim, to portraying themselves as misunderstood or abandoned. Other times they may become enraged and lash out, hoping to provoke the person into a reaction. The narcissist believes that even negative attention is better than none at all, as long as it brings them back into the spotlight. The absence of communication can also create a sense of isolation for the narcissist. Narcissists are often surrounded by people who enable their behavior, feeding into their grandiose sense of self. However, silence from a key individual or group of people can strip away this support. It creates a void, making them feel abandoned and unimportant. This isolation is profoundly uncomfortable for a narcissist, as their sense of self-worth is dependent on their social standing and the relationships they maintain. Another aspect of the impact of silence on a narcissist is the insecurity it breeds. Narcissists thrive on praise and validation. So when they are met with silence, they may interpret it as rejection or a sign of inadequacy. Their fragile egos make it difficult for them to handle perceived rejection, and they often react by seeking reassurance through other means. They may bombard the person with excessive messages, attempt to reconnect through mutual acquaintances, or turn to other sources of validation like social media. Silence also forces the narcissist to confront the truth, something they are usually skilled at avoiding. Narcissists often create elaborate stories to justify their behavior or to protect their fragile self-image. However, when the narcissist is met with silence, they may be left alone with their thoughts and fears. This introspection can force them to face the fact that their behavior is not as effective as they believed it to be, leading to feelings of vulnerability and self-doubt. The longer the silence continues, the more desperate the narcissist becomes. They may become more erratic in their attempts to elicit a response, going from charm to anger, then to manipulation and back again. Each failed attempt chips away at their sense of control and exacerbates their anxiety. They may also feel increasingly entitled to a response, believing that their needs should always be met. The more entitled they feel, the more they may escalate their efforts, potentially becoming obsessive in their desire for resolution. Despite their outward bravado, narcissists are often deeply insecure, and silence challenges their carefully constructed persona. Narcissists invest a significant amount of energy into cultivating an image of perfection, strength, and invulnerability. Silence from others shatters this illusion, leaving them feeling exposed and raw. It forces them to acknowledge that they are not as invincible as they like to present themselves. This confrontation with their own vulnerability can trigger an emotional meltdown, especially if the silence continues for an extended period. In some cases, the narcissist may respond to prolonged silence with a form of emotional blackmail. They may express outrage at being ignored, using guilt as a weapon to manipulate the other person into breaking the silence. They may accuse the person of being unfair, callous, or disloyal, using these accusations to pressure them into re-engaging. This tactic is a form of control, attempting to manipulate the situation to their advantage by preying on the other person's empathy. However, silence also presents an opportunity for the target of the narcissist's behavior to regain their own sense of power. By refusing to engage in the narcissist's games, they take away the narcissist's primary tool for manipulation. Silence, when used strategically, can be an act of self-preservation, allowing the individual to reclaim their autonomy and establish boundaries. It forces the narcissist to confront their own feelings without the reassurance of external validation. Over time, silence can have a cumulative effect on the narcissist's psyche. The more they are met with silence, the more their sense of control slips away. This can lead to a breakdown in their ability to maintain their image and their relationships. Narcissists may eventually feel the weight of their own actions catching up with them, as silence reflects the consequences of their behavior, consequences they can no longer avoid or deny. In extreme cases, silence can push a narcissist into a state of obsession, where they fixate on the person who has gone silent. This fixation can become all-consuming, driving them to stalk, manipulate, or try to provoke a response at any cost. Narcissists often lack emotional insight and the ability to understand others' boundaries, so they may believe that the silence is simply a game to be won. They will stop at nothing to force a reaction, often disregarding the other person's well-being or rights. Despite these tactics, silence remains one of the most effective ways to disarm a narcissist. While it may take time, silence can strip away the narcissist's power, forcing them to confront their vulnerabilities and self-doubt. Ultimately, silence is a powerful tool because it is a form of resistance that leaves the narcissist powerless. It creates a space where they cannot control the narrative and where their usual tactics no longer work. In the end, silence can be the most liberating and healing response for those dealing with a narcissist. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've not done so. Thank you.